Two friends, Alan Dale and Jerry Carew, who grew up just a few streets apart in St. John's East End, have been separated by Canada's geography for 3 decades. They came together virtually during the pandemic to chat about like-minded interests. Alan lives in PEI and Jerry in Newfoundland. Thriving in remoteness has been a common theme for both of them during the pandemic. Gale Force Wins, the podcast is the result.
And welcome to Gale Force Wins. I'm Alan Dale, and with me as always is my good buddy, the East End of St. John's, Jerry Carew. How are you, Jerry?
Oh, I'm doing great, Alan. Looking forward to having another chat on Gale Force Wins. You know, the feedback continues to be wonderful. We're talking to people who have inspiring stories, and how could you not enjoy that? Right. So Jay is going to be, he'll be episode number 41, 40 hours of inspiration.
Absolutely, Jerry. And I'm excited to talk to, I'm always excited to talk to entrepreneurs. I'm always excited to talk to people that are passionate about what they're doing and they're making a go of it. And on that note, we've got Jay Gallagher with us today. Jay, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, how are you doing, guys? It's great to be on your show, and I'm actually really excited to meet you guys. And you seem like you're pure comedians, but that's a good thing.
My wife would say different.
Would she?
Nah, she
wouldn't.
Wife,
but anyway. Sure would say different. Yeah, so basically, I was born in the UK. And I lived over there till I was 7 years of age. My mum and dad worked together. My father, he was a developer, and he worked in the UK for 27 years with my mum, and she's an interior designer, and they worked with a lot of people from Saudi Arabia and a lot of multicultural people from all around the world. And then whenever I was 7, moved home to Ireland, where my mum and dad are from. And then we went to school there and everything. Time moved on. Growing up, I worked really, really hard, like with my father in construction, and up until the age of 12, where my father actually fell sick. So then sadly, my dad did pass away. But so growing up, then I was with my mom, who was a single parent, with my brother and sister. So we always learned, like growing up, you really have to work hard. We learned from a young age that you have to support people. And also really, like, we're just brought up in a very caring family environment that worked hard and on learning skills, everything. And so then starting out, like I said, I was working from a young age with my father. And then when I was 13, I used to work summer jobs in construction. I used to get the bus like an hour back and forth to various different places around Ireland. And then for years, I worked construction up until I was 17. Then I went to AIT for engineering, for civil engineering in Athlone and County Westmeath, and I graduated there in 2011. But during that time frame of university, my brother, he started a car business, and then it was very small, and then I came on board with him. He was doing like engine transplants and just purely on Japanese imported cars. It was a really big car scene in Ireland back then.
How old were you then, Jay?
Say the Fast and Furious. I was about 17, so between 17 and 19. So we started off with my mum's garage at her house, and then I helped him set up like so much stuff, and we worked really hard together. So I was working at that during university, paid off my university and everything, and then we started to export parts to the UK for all different Hondas. And then we started doing basically with secondhand parts, shipping all over Ireland and the UK. And then after that, we launched and started shipping worldwide car parts for these specific cars, Hondas. And then after that, we actually, I think it was in about what year was it? 2009, I think. We had a guy reach out to us from the Netherlands by email, and he said, do you guys have any cars for sale? And which we actually did, because we used to do cars up and then have them back to like stock. I don't know if you're aware, like Japanese imports from Japan, they're a very specific type of, I'm sure you guys have traveled and seen them, specific type of car. But they're so then we bring them right back to stock, make sure they're in top-notch condition, We used to put them on dyno machines, everything. And then this guy, yeah, like I said, he reached out to us and said, "Oh, do you have any cars for sale?" And I thought maybe this is a scam or something. So in the end, we ended up making a car deal with the guy, put our first car on the trailer. We met this guy in Dublin airport, and then we exchanged the funds for the first car. And then years later, we're still in business with this. We ended up setting up a partnership with the guy in the Netherlands. And to date, we've sent probably about 3,000 cars over to him, shipped over to him over the years. And then right now, my brother still does ship over to him, but Brexit kind of threw a twist on things there last year. When all that happens, we had to change a lot of things. But yeah, it's been really busy for that business. And yeah, then from there in Ireland, we quickly moved out of my mum's garage in Ireland, moved to a spot in Mullingar, opened up a garage there, then opened up another one in Tullamore. And then in the UK, we joined up with partners with a place called Twiga Imports. So it's a very big company. And then we got in with like the rally championships in the UK, Ireland, and it just got involved with a whole bunch of stuff. But today, yeah, the company, it's a really big company with about 30 employees. And I'm kind of, whenever I took the move to move over to Canada, I stepped back, and the company since then has grown, but I'm still a partner in the company. And I decided I wanted to do my own thing and travel. And so then, yeah, that was my first type of entrepreneur kind of thing that I got involved with. But so then whenever I graduated university, I decided that I wanted to move to Canada because when I was young, my best friend was from Kingston, Ontario. And we always used to watch ice hockey, play games, playing ice hockey. And I just always had this good feeling about moving to Canada. So we went to like a few different job fairs up in Dublin, kind of faired out what different companies. There's a lot of companies actually from Labrador and Newfoundland over there. And
Really?
They were just dying for construction workers. And I couldn't actually get over the accent out of the fellas from Newfoundland there. I was like, geez, are these fellas from Ireland or where are they from? But they had quite a strong accent. I remember meeting them for the first time. I had no idea where it was. And then there was a few different companies there from PEI as well, but I didn't really see anything. It was hard at the time to say, oh, I'm going to go and travel this place. So I ended up applying for an open work permit. And then I just booked flights, and I flew over to PEI in about the middle of March of 2012 on my own, got off the plane, and I was like, I got to turn back. There was that much snow. I've never seen that snow before.
You haven't been to Newfoundland yet, have you?
Oh, I have many times yet. But yeah, so then I arrived in PEI airport. It was really, really tough. I had traveled over the years to Chicago, like, and stuff like that growing up, like on visa. It's like J1 visas through university, and you travel like, because when I worked over there and stuff like that, but never somewhere on my own, right? Like, always with friends or family or something like that. So then I got off the plane. I had arranged to meet with a guy like this motel. I think it was about $700 a month or something like that. I had no idea on price and what's good or bad, but it looked quite good from the pictures he had sent me. So he picked me up, and it was near the Charlottetown airport. He brought me down to this motel. He's like, all right, here's your room in here. And I was like, where's the furniture? They said, oh, there's no furniture included. And I said, you're telling me I'm after getting off of like a 32-hour flight. Back then, I booked like a cheap flight. You learn your lesson to pay a little bit more and get better stopovers, like when you're traveling far. I said, you're telling me there's no bed or nothing? And then he said, oh, well, we could like maybe get something included. And I said, well, it's like this, man. I was like, you're going to have to get me some furniture, or I'm going to go get a hotel. I can't live where I'm meant to sleep, on my bag. Felt like saying, what planet is this fella on? But anyway, so then I got in the truck with him. We went to, he brought me to this shipping container at the back of some building, and we loaded up like a blow-up bed, some furniture and stuff like this, brought it back, got it set up, and that's where I stayed in Charlottetown, near Parts for Trucks, actually. There's like a little motel. Now when I look back, I think, geez, I stayed there, but you got to start somewhere, I suppose. So stayed there for a couple of months, and then through work, I got involved in the construction, and I was working in PEI, and I was working in the steel industry in construction. And even though I had my engineering degree, it's kind of tricky just to come somewhere. So I had to start off down lower in a lower position. And like I worked hands-on out on site. Eventually you can build yourself up. But so then a couple of months later, the friend that was working with me, he asked me would I would like to move in with him, move to a much nicer place, worked with him. And then PI was looking a lot better then, but getting back to the snow, I could not believe the snow was going over the bumper in the van and the trucks, and it was just crazy the amount of snow here. It was nuts, and how cold it was as well. But it was really tough, you know. At first, there's no vehicle or anything. I used to walk down to like Outriders. There's a restaurant there to get dinner at night, and people. I never really, at first, I was quite quiet. Didn't reach out to people to talk to people. So, but then I started to go downtown on my own, going to different bars, trying to meet people. And that's how I actually met people, just talking, and people were super friendly. And then met different friend groups, and now I know too many people. But from there, then I went and got a job with a steel company, like through the years. And I worked out in Alberta, Winnipeg, Snow Lake, Manitoba, Newfoundland, Labrador, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, everywhere. Built my way up the ladder from labor jobs to foreman, superintendent, project manager, project director of like companies in the construction industry, running up to jobs up to $10 million. And back in 2019, then, well, all along that journey, I remember like I was always thinking I'd love to start my own business, and I dreamed to start a business with food. Because just growing up, I loved cooking. My mum was even though she was an interior designer, she worked in the culinary industry for a long time. She had all her culinary schooling as well. She was unbelievable. We had a lot of, like I said, friends from Saudi and Indian friends, and a lot of multicultural. So it was always a lot of different food around my household. So I learned to cook a lot, like through growing up, even helping out around the house, cooking for my brother who can't cook toast. But basically, and my sister, you know, looking after everyone. And then I just, all along my journey, I just always wanted to have a food business, restaurant. I didn't know I was going to get involved in what I am right now. And then going to work, whenever I was working, say, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, even in the wintertime, I used to always pack my lunch into a cooler, and then I'd just freeze it. And then at lunchtime, I'd just take it out, pop it in the microwave, where a lot of the other guys I was working with, they were going to McDonald's every day, Pizza Hut, all these places. And you know, you can really get out of shape really quick too, especially when you're on the road. You can be eating, you know, fast food a lot, and it gets boring. And as well as that, you do get paid for your food allowance every day. So I was banking that money and saving it instead of, you know, spending it out every day. So it's a good way of saving. So I was doing all that, and I was thinking, geez, them guys are spending some money every day, like on between food and energy drinks and everything else. And all this time I thought maybe someday that would be a good industry to get involved with. So in 2019, I was working a lot of hours, you know, salary job, and you're just, you know, getting paid 40 hours. I was putting in probably 90 hours a week in construction, working from home. I go in, my mind, I honestly couldn't shut it off. But work, I get up at 4 a.m., just go into the office, you know. You have foreman's calling you, because as a project director, they're calling you at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and they're, after having a few drinks, and they're over in Newfoundland, and they're calling you, complaining about this, that, and the other. But I was working for a company, and I won't say which company, but the company itself had a lot of money issues, and it made my job really difficult. Yeah. From getting sourcing materials from suppliers, guys calling me up, like foremen saying, look, the credit card's bouncing, we've nowhere to stay, Jay. And I was like, look, man, here, I'm going to pay for it. So I was paying with my own money for all these crews to stay where they are. I go on a meeting to Newfoundland, go to get my rental car, and credit cards would bounce, you know, stuff like this. And I thought, what am I doing? Like, dealing with all this, lying to, like, say if you were a project manager reaching out to me, Alan, and saying, oh, what day you're going to be on site, I'd go then to the owner and say, look, well, when are we going to have this? Well, we're waiting for this check to come in for pay that. I said, what do you want me to say? So I was lying and lying and lying, crushing my reputation, right? I'm not a liar, right? Like these are all good guys. They're the same as me. They're trying to do their job, and their boss is down their ass, and they're trying to hit schedules. And it's the whole construction is very fast paced, which I'm sure you guys are aware. And so then I said, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I said, I'm going to take a month off. I traveled to Thailand with my girlfriend. We went backpacking. Didn't want to come back, but absolutely loved it over there. We traveled, and we didn't do it a touristy way. We did it all ourselves, like Airbnbs, hostels, rented scooters everywhere, wrapped Thailand. Came back, another guy I was working with had left, so then I got hit with all his work. And I'm a very organized person. I couldn't get over like how this guy had been working all this time, and how much of the situation to take on all the crap, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I did sort it all out, and then about 2 months later, money issues kept happening, and then I said, you know what? I think I need a change in life. So I just I spoke to my mom. Always go to my mom for everything as a single parent. She was always there for me, but it doesn't matter how old a man can get, you always go and talk to your mother. I'll tell you that. They're always there to advise you. So I went and spoke to her, and she said, you know what? She was like, you've money, you've savings, just go and do what you want to do. So I ended up just going to the guy and said, look, I want you to know I have the highest respect for you as a business owner, but I can't do this anymore. And he's like, oh, no, I understand. But so then, he was in a shitty situation, but he should have thought about, I'd warned the guy. I didn't, this was a long time coming. He wasn't fixing his business, right? So, anyway, then I left that business, and I took some time off that summer and traveled, and then I started working on a business plan. I said, I'm going to give this meal thing a shot. So started doing a lot of research and development for the meal prepping company. So it was basically I started Fuel Your Body Healthy Meal Delivery, was the name of the company. And first off, another big influencer was my partner's father, Martin. Ruckley's his name, and he was a chef in the UK for 25 years. He's a pure character fella. It's a shame he's not here beside me to tell you a bit of his story as well. But he first off started when we started testing some meals out. We just started off at home, just doing like 20 meals, and I was going to a few different friends, seeing what they thought of the recipes and whatnot. And then there's a gym in Charlottetown, Court 6 CrossFit. It's located just up by the airport there. So I had joined there like about half a year prior to this, and I switched over from a regular gym over to CrossFit, and just the people in the community are amazing. Met so many great people. It's a lot harder on your body, but I felt I was really getting in great shape. So I spoke to the owner, and he's well traveled. He had been down in the US. He had seen like a lot of gyms, like with food at the gyms and whatnot. And then I decided to speak to him, like get some business advice from him and what he kind of thought. And he thought it'd be a great idea to do like a grab and go at his gym to kind of get it test it all out. So I set it up anyway. Got Martin and I went, and because you're not allowed to just cook from, even if you have a kitchen at your home, you can't go and register a kitchen at your household, like, and get a proper food license. Yeah. And at first I was thinking, maybe we'll trial it out. But then, do you know what? With food, it's so, you have to be really safe with food. If anything ever came back on you, you could be sued left, right, and center. So I made sure I had all the proper insurances set up in place. We went and we got a food license, and we rented a kitchen. It's just out in Riverdale Orchard. It was a brewing company.
What year is this now? Where are we in terms of time?
Now we're in, sorry for all over the place.
No, that's fine.
I tried to jump ahead there in the construction. We're in 2019 now.
Okay.
Yeah. So up to 2019, 2012 to 2019, worked construction PEI. I did work a lot of I'd worked like 2 jobs as well, and various like different things, like side. I do anything to make money basically, but so then from weeding gardens to cutting grass to people want, you know what I mean? That's what I did all along the journey. But in 2019, when I did leave the construction job, like I said, we were testing things out, Martin and I. I met my partner, and yeah, he kind of guided me through it. And my love for food, I think it was just my passion for food was a massive thing. And prior to that, I was going like in a regular gym, and I worked with a meal planning guy for fitness with a lot of macronutrients, and on my meals I have all the macros. And one big issue I found with, he gave me a full meal plan, and I had to cook all my own food. It costs you a fortune to go and buy all these different ingredients and cook all this food just for one person, right? So that kind of gave me an inclination to maybe there's a business model out there that's going to help people, because I know I'm not the only one. And apart from that, even if you're paying for this meal plan and a fitness instructor, you still need to put in the work to go and make all your meals. You know what I mean? Instead of being tired after work, coming home and, you know, wanting to, and then you have your partner wanting to do something with you, or vice versa. So that was another thing that I thought would be great to why to get involved with that business. So we rented the kitchen. It's out in Riverdale, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with PEI, it's just past Emmyvale, near Brookfield Ski Park, that kind of area. And it was a brewing company, a very small kitchen though. So then we started off renting from that location. It was in December, and the weather was starting to get crappy. And I was making some meals, and I got a fridge set up in a Court 6 CrossFit with James Tremar. He's the owner, really great guy, and his wife Tara. And we got a square machine set up. So the way it was working was I'd stock up that fridge with meals, and then he would then, like, say for example, if one of you guys was a member there, you'd go up and say, Jamie, I want to get some, or James, I want to get some meals. And then he just charge it out in the machine. Like within 2 taps, you can tap your credit card, then you just take your meal and go. So then we were doing that for it went really well. Like back then it was, you know, about 60 meals a week out of that small little fridge, like probably stocked up twice nearly. We were cooking twice a week. So I was delivering food we were cooking food on Sunday and delivering it on Sunday. And then on Wednesday, we were cooking food and delivering it on Wednesday as well. Martin was traveling from home back and forth. It's just the 2 of us. And, you know, all the kitchen prep, cooking, dishes, it was a lot of work even for that. And then it got really tough in the wintertime renting out that location. And then as it started to get busier, it was harder to cook. They only had like little induction cookers. They'd one oven, but the space wasn't there, and fridge space as well. And you know what I mean? So then I moved to, and I just had a car at the time for transporting as well. So it was tricky in the winter, right? So then I reached out to a few spots right in Charlottetown, and then I went to, it's called Gallant's Island Food to Go. And it's a restaurant just by Outriders and near the airport there in that industrial area. And he said that he'd rent the kitchen out to me. Like, so on a what day we used to go in? Yeah, so on a Saturday, we changed the cooking around. So on a Saturday, we used to go in and cook. And then we drop off to the gym fridges, say Saturday night. So they'll be there for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then we cook on Tuesday at about 4 p.m. So his kitchen would be finishing up for the day. We'd go in, and then we'd be there to say 9, 10, 11 at night, 12 at night sometimes. And then as things got busier, because I reached out to another gym at the Mount Academy. They also have like an ice hockey school there as well. And Chris McPhee is the guy's name. He's a really nice guy. And I reached out to him, and I got a little fridge set up there, and he started to buy the meals off me a little bit cheaper than what I sell them. And then he'd resell them to all his students and everything. And that was going really well as well. So then we had the grab and go Court 6 CrossFit, and then he was buying and selling the meals there. And we felt like that was super busy as well at the time. And then where are we now? Yeah, so then in just the end of January there, I launched, I was going to start delivering to people's homes, right? at the time, I thought, oh, this is, you think of all these ideas, but you don't think that you got to have every other process. As a business owner, you think, I can do all this. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff that's got to change, like from equipment to staff to food to, I learned an absolute pile, I'll tell you that, like a crazy amount. So then even, go ahead, Alan?
No. I'm just curious, where are you now? You went from a couple of gyms to what's the business look like now?
A lot of food. Yeah. So then a lot's changed, let's put it that way. So then in March, then we've been going to Glant's Kitchen, and then I actually I asked him with his staff would be interested in working extra hours. So we got some of the girls on hand. They were helping with the packing of the meals. They were washing dishes. So that helped things. We were able to focus more on the food quality as well, right? Because it's a very high quality product. Even today, it's even better than it ever was, to be honest with you. So then whenever COVID first hit, which was, what month was that? Was that just March 2020?
March 2020, yeah.
March.
Yeah. People started to get really terrified, and restaurants, no one knew what was going on, right? And I was still like, they were really great to deal with, the people in the restaurant, but they were super nervous, about who was in there giving me access, so they took the key away from me. So it became really hard for me to, I had to meet them at a certain time, and everyone was so nervous, right? I have nothing against them. People have been amazing, right? But just, it really threw people right off, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to close down right now and just, see what's going on here. So I ended up shutting down and closing during COVID. And then I was at home and I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do? Like, I'd reached out before to many other kitchen spots, but it gets old transporting back and forth all your ingredients. Like, I did have like a storage set up in my garage of I had fridges and freezers for different various products along the way, right? But as it got bigger, it was getting difficult. And so then I decided to, I have a building at my property, and it was my garage, and I fully converted it to a full commercial kitchen during COVID. Wow. Yeah. So in that garage, all that was in the corner was just like them paint sinks, the white sinks. Yeah. I was looking at it one day, and I was talking to a really good friend of mine, Chris Penny. He lives over in Nova Scotia. He's one of my best friends, and he works in commercial banking for TD over there, but he's just unbelievable guy. And I was saying, do you know what? I think that I'm gonna try and convert the garage to a commercial kitchen. He's like, there's no way. And we had been, honestly, we just prior to starting my business, I know we're going back a little bit now, but back just before 2019 December, we traveled to Africa. And over there, we did a lot of cooking as well and stuff. And I was talking to him about my whole food business model. And he said, the best thing for you to do would be if you can eventually get a business or get it at your home. You know what I mean? You could write that all off through your taxes, all that stuff. So then that's what had me thinking about this. So going back to where we are presently, shut for COVID, I started looking at it. I did up some designs and stuff on the laptop and AutoCAD and stuff like that, and what I could do. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. So then I went and I ordered all the equipment, priced it all up locally and everything. It was very expensive. Went and got the best pricing. I got stuff shipped in from Ontario. There is another local guy, Kent Ford, unbelievable guy here on the island. He does all commercial kitchen equipment. And I reached out to him. Me and him are really good friends now to this date. So reached out to him. He helped me deliver. We got it all set up. I have friends from working in construction that helped with different various things, even though I'm well able to do a lot of stuff like plumbing and stuff and you name it. But, it was a lot of work. I wanted to make sure it was all set up good. So we got it all set up, full commercial kitchen. Then there was a delay getting licensing. So because of COVID, because everyone was up working at the bridge. So I was calling them because I was wanting to get open again, right? Now that I have my own spot. So I did a launch date of Canada Day of 2020. And then I opened back up. Things were busier than ever. We went to, back before we closed, we were probably doing about, say, 300 meals a week, like say a 150 a cook. So when I opened back up, I said, you know what, I'm going to ease back into this and just do one cook day a week. So we were doing one cook day a week, and Martin and I also, at this point then, I had another staff member, like my friend's neighbor's kid. He was helping with dishes and stuff like that, but a really great little worker, and he lived right next door, right? So after school, he'd come in, work with dishes.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, really, really good. Just want to make money. Remind me of me when I was young. So got cooking again, and we launched, like I said, Canada Day, and the next one, we're up to about 400 or 500 meals like by September. So I had to, even though I had a commercial kitchen, I had to just before that, ended up getting the licensing. Everything went great. They said it was the cleanest kitchen they've ever seen in their life. Well, it was a new kitchen, all right, but they loved the Help PEI. Loved the whole concept of it, everything. To this day, we have a really good relationship with them. When they come and do inspections, they just love the place. But then whenever they came in, so then come September, got even busier. People are going back to school, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm after skipping a few different things.
Oh, no.
Yeah, prior to that, like just before COVID, like when I did close for COVID, I just launched with Simply for Life Charlottetown. So they had reached out to me, and she started buying my meals wholesale. So this was back like in March, just like on a small scale. And she was buying them wholesale and reselling them. She has like a weight loss. Caitlin's her name. She's a super nice girl in the Simply for Life Charlottetown. She's the owner, and all the other ladies in there are unbelievable as well. But so she was buying my meals wholesale and then reselling them, and then that was going amazing. But that all went away, right? But then come Canada Day, it all opened back up again. And also, for the first launch of Canada Day, I built my own website as well with Shopify. So that was all up and going as well. And so the orders were flying in really great. So the first pickup day was actually the day after Canada Day, because Canada Day is a holiday, right? And she started using her location as a pickup location too. And she has big fridges in there. So to date, that's been amazing in there. And for the Mount Academy, that got all shut down because of the nursing homes. So in with Chris, so that was even to this date, you got to enter through the back. So that got shut down, and then opened back up in September. And I'd reached out to Amelia. She owns Kinetic Fitness downtown. Actually, she reached out to me. On Instagram, she owns Kinetic Fitness downtown Charlottetown, and she asked me about getting food put into her fridges. So we did. We started like a grab and go thing down in the fridge down there. But the only issue with the grab and go thing was who's going to manage it, right? So as everyone got so busy, it was hard to manage, like if you want to go and buy a meal. So then I did have a system in place, like with the Square machine was all steps. So Alan, you could go in and you could pay for your meal, and then you take your meals and go. But the only issue with that is if you have a snow day, you can be worrying about food not being sold, even though it was generally very, very good. But so to this date, we actually got rid of the grab and goes from the gyms, because that model, I just preferred an order online model and pick up instead. So then everyone knows food's already paid for the week before. All the names are on customers' bags, everything. They go in, they pick up their meals right from the gym, right? So then in September, I had another couple of like gym, 782 CrossFit in Charlottetown, North River. My girlfriend was actually going there, and she was working out at that gym. And Brett from there reached out to me. Mike, that's another one, really nice guys. And they asked me would I like to put a fridge in there for pickup. So I put a fridge in there, and since then they actually got one of the guys that works there. He's a great guy. He works for like Budweiser and Keats. He went and put a big fridge in there for me, and then I moved that one because I bought all my fridges. They're like small black fridges. I moved that to their other location in Stratford. So 782 Athletics. It's out at the sports complex out there. Mm-hmm. So at this stage, you have like quite a good little network of pickup spots, right? And people can pick up for free. It also encourages people. So there's a few of the gyms are members only. So the members feel, it's like priority, they are able to go, and like a perk, right? They can order online, pick up from their gym. And then there's some gyms that have anyone can go in and pick up, like Kinetic Fitness or in Stratford. But it brings in new people as well. See, wow, I never knew this place was here. So it can help with their business too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I do. So Jay, I've learned a lesson here today. I've learned a number of lessons. The first lesson that I've learned here today is never say to an Irish fella, go ahead and introduce yourself. On it. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable story. So, but I want to go back a little bit, Jay. I want to go back because I know there's a lot here that I want to talk about. And one of the things I want to kind of throw it over to Jerry first, because I think you and Jerry got a lot in common. And you know where I'm going, don't you, Jerry?
Yeah.
So you and Jerry got a lot in common. Jerry as well lost his dad early as a young fella and was raised by a single mom. Jerry's mom just passed away. Jerry, tell us about the importance, the importance of that relationship that you had with your dad way back then, and how that helped you evolve your life today. Because it sounds very similar to Jay. You guys have both gone on to do great things, come from a solid foundation.
It was funny, you know, Jay, listening to you talk. I was 14 when Dad passed away. How old were you? 12? Or
I was 12, yeah.
I mean, when you consider the formative years, it took me about 12 years to put my life back together, frankly. Not to say that my mom wasn't working hard to put me back together, but it took at least, I remember I was 26 before the sun shone again. Let's just say that, if that paints a picture for you. But you know, just listening to you talk and losing mom died on June 5th of this year. There's still mornings I wake up and I'm like, I want to text her and she's not there. And that's tough, let me tell you. But you're right, Alan. You know, my dad was an amazing individual, was an engineering guy, did all kinds of construction type things and had a metal lathe at home, a wooden lathe. I used to stand there, I remember as a kid, and watch him like create stuff. I don't have a lathe, but I certainly have some skills. You'll laugh at this, Jay, but I don't reveal them all to my wife because, you know, if you reveal all your carpentry skills, you'll end up being a carpenter around the house all the time. That's not to say I don't fix things, but you know, yeah, no, it's an interesting story. The foundational element, you know, I will tell you this, Alan, to answer your question. One of the things, you know, you cannot describe the loss when you see others that have dads around. You just can't. But you certainly learn at a very young age what a woman can accomplish when you look at a single mom like Jay and I have, and two, you get to see, I guess, how quickly life can disappear. So you kind of work. I know I do. I work every day as hard as I can to try and do what you can to live in the moment and live a great life. So anyway, I know I'm kind of rambling on that, but Jay, I mean, it's, you know, you've hit a nerve with me here, and it's very raw still, you know. Anyway, I'm probably bringing back some pretty challenging memories for you as well, you know.
No, that's okay. The best thing to always do is talk about things, right? But I do, when you say like every day you work super hard and strive and live life, you know what? I do the exact same thing. I'm always like, even my mom, she works too hard, honestly, to this day. And like, I know what you're saying about texts. Every single day, no matter what, my mother will text me every single morning, good morning, and every single night. Since I moved to Canada, there's not been one single day that she hasn't actually texted me, and that's unbelievable, right? No matter what. And but my mum still to this day will be out cutting the grass in our home garden, you know what I mean, really hard, like in Ireland. And it's the same here. Years ago, parents are brought up just work hard, don't even spend any money, right? They just want to work, hide the money underneath the bed. You know what I mean? Like it's so true now. The whole way, like millennials, like our whole world is different. How kids are brought up, you know, kids aren't. I'm not saying every single family, but people aren't brought up with the same a lot of different skills. They have a lot different skills as well, right? Like when it comes to computers and a lot of stuff that we all learned along the way, but now they're learning that at a much younger age, right? But yeah, life's definitely, you know, I just always feel you got to live in the moment. I'm a big believer of like, I want to experience so many different things in life. So that's why I'm a big traveler. I've traveled a lot of countries. You know, during the week, I get up super early. I'm like a 5 a.m., 6 a.m. every single day type guy. And, you know, try to go to bed at a decent time. But I love you. My advice to people is like, time really does go by super fast. You know, I'm turning 32 this year, and it feels like yesterday I was a young guy, right? But it's time flies. Alan, you say that too.
Alan and I are both 55. I remember when on my 30th birthday, I woke up with the stiffest neck possible, went to work, could hardly move, and people say, "Oh, happy birthday. Do you feel any older?" As I was creeping into the office. Yes, I do. But one thing I do want to ask is, you know, COVID for me changed everything. Alan and I have talked a lot about this. Just to listen to you talk about your business is ramping up, and then all of a sudden, bam, she shut down. But you didn't sit around twiddling your thumbs. You pivoted and actually put together a kitchen that's even better than you've ever had. So would you say COVID has been a blessing, a curse, or a mix of both? What would you say?
I think that COVID's, you know, nobody knew what was going to happen, like with the whole thing. But for me, I've never been able to sit down a whole lot. I do like watching, I like more documentaries more than anything, right? Or like TV, but I don't honestly watch a lot of TV. I'm always doing stuff around the house, gardening, working outside, working on something, right? And as a business, where was I going to go? The thing with having like a degree and experience, once you got 10 years experience, I feel like you could literally go and work in any industry whatsoever and name it sales, you know. And I still had, even COVID, you got to remember too, I have my business in Ireland I was dealing with too, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't throw this in the mix, but every day at 4 a.m. I used to get up when I was more hands-on with that business in Ireland with my brother, and then I'd work my normal job as well. So I was working a lot of hours. And whenever I started this company, I was getting quite drained, you know, like burnt out big time, especially when like there's been a lot of times I felt like giving up, you know, as we got busier and busier. But COVID definitely it ramped right up for my business during that time, because everyone was at home. We're delivering right to your home for a delivery fee. And it's funny you say that, because I actually did a thing with Skills PEI in Charlottetown. And Lena, she's a lady, she's actually from Russia. She was super nice. She gave me a lot of guidance as well. And I got like awarded the Skills PEI program in there. And she said that my business thrived. Out of everyone that was in that boardroom that day, none of the other businesses continued on, but mine thrived. Like they all basically, you know, they went that way during COVID. But with my business model, which is sad to see that happen to them, but it thrived, right? Because it was a food business that it was an essential service as well. Food delivered right to your door. And yeah, it went really well. So yeah, COVID really has big time improved my business. It's also brought a lot of struggles, because when the gyms kept shutting down, that threw me off. I had to change the website constantly, you know, all this. I changed a lot of different things, but at least we still had whenever the gym shut down, we just delivered right to people's homes. You know what I mean? And it's not the people's fault that the gym shut down. So we offered free delivery to people's homes, still kept everyone happy. Whenever I did launch that website for the reopening, I actually also included weekly subscription plans. So that's been a big, you know, that was a really big thing for my business, having the subscription plans, because it's like a reoccurring revenue, right? So before you even get out of bed in the morning, you know, you have, you know, your customers every single week, unless they go on holiday or pause, or if they want to cancel, you know what I mean? They're change something up, and that's a really great thing to have is that model. So I love that aspect of it. But yeah, no, COVID definitely did help improve, because I
Jay,
went and I took the initiative and went and got all that work done, right?
yeah.
So,
Jay, there's no doubt about it. You're a savvy business person. You have an incredible, strong work ethic. It's very clear. I mean, give a guy like you a garage and he's going to turn it into something. Clearly, you've got a passion for turning a garage into something.
yeah.
Bill Gates did too, by the way. Anyway, so I think it's fantastic. But one thing that I'm really drawn to in your conversation is that every single time you mention somebody's name, you follow it by giving them some accolades, by telling them how good they were, how much they meant to you. Talk a little bit about where does that come from, Jay? Why do you feel you pump everybody up around you? Like, let's talk about Martin for a minute. Let's talk about the guy that was in there cutting vegetables with you. Let's talk about him for a minute. What is it about the people that you surround yourself with that you're so happy about what they bring to the table?
Well, the likes of Martin, he's been unbelievable no matter what. Martin, he actually, even though he worked in the UK for 25 years, since he started his own business over here in Canada, and he works with insurance, and like he's kind of like a mortgage specialist, insurance specialist really. And since then he had to change his career to that path because he had a daughter years ago, and a big life-changing thing. They also immigrated to Canada in 2012, and that's where I met them. Not that far back, but say three years and a bit back. But he was grinding, like working with me. So he'd get up. He used to work. He still does to this day, work on UK time, and then he'd come and work with me, say cooking as well. And he's working a pile of hours, right? So it was very tough on him. And he's a master chef, right? Like I learned so many skills from him. But I really appreciate him to this day. And no matter what, that man always makes me laugh. His family, they invite me into their home. He always cooks Sunday roast dinners through the winter time. He's an unbelievable guy. Yeah, he really is. And no matter what, even in times when, as my business grew, it became very hard for him to always be there. But then, we then have got our own staff. And today we actually have 7 staff members, part-time staff members. The reason I haven't gone with full-time staff members is because whenever we switch to the different module of we just cook once a week now, I found it better to have more part-time staff members that are, reliable and really good guys compared to having full-time guys where if one guy is out sick or if one guy can't come to work, it's very hard to replace someone. And then all of a sudden you're working till 1, 2 in the morning. And trust me, that's happened. And so with Martin, no matter what, even when we're just absolutely hectic, he'll always, if I needed him or called him, he'd be there in a flash. You know what I mean? To this day, he still does cook with us, and he's just developed menus, and we've really tried to keep it simple on the menu and super healthy, right? But no, he's an unbelievable guy altogether. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But everybody you talk to, everybody that you mentioned here today, they're all unbelievable. What is it about you that they want to be around you? Because that doesn't happen
I think
naturally.
Do you know what most ladies tell me over the years? I have a good smile.
That's the accent. It's the accent.
I know. I don't know. I suppose I value myself as a really good guy. Sometimes it's hard to, show how much you care to people all the time, especially when you're busy. I have a lot of really good friends of mine, and they nearly think that you're, or even in the gyms. I want to be in them gyms more, but I'm like, my own life is super busy. You got work, you got your own life. You're trying to have fun as well. I really struggled. I have disc injuries in my back. Really struggled with the last couple of years. I kept going back to the gym, hurting myself, just in pain, taking medication. But even around the communities and the gyms, I want to be in there more. But sometimes life just got so goddamn busy that I couldn't do it all, right? And I just said to myself, you know what, Jay, you got to take a little step back here. People will understand, right? So, yeah, to everyone out there that's ever been around me and helped me, I super appreciate you all. And for the most part, I've been very lucky to meet really good people through the business. And to this date, since the business has grown to even since that September. If you want me, I can continue on if you like and tell you a bit more to where it is at now. But a lot's changed since then even.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Tell us about it.
So in September, it all in pickup locations to date are still there. And we got rid of the grab and go, so you just order online, and the whole system is going really well. And then coming into October, we prepared for the winter. But in August, so I bought a van for deliveries because the car wasn't cutting it anymore. So I had the car and van for deliveries. And then come October, yeah, just my subscriptions were going amazing. You know, they were all growing. Our revenue was going up. Everything was going better. We were continuously every week, like I meet with like my staff members and say, look, you tell me where we can make improvements to make things faster, keep the quality. And that's one thing I always did with staff is like, let them tell you like how they can help you as well. Make them feel important, because all my staff are unbelievable guys, right? Like, and they really help you out. Same with Martin. I've always taken full on advice from him. So then we got super, super busy right up to November. And then I got hit with really bad news from back home. So I got a phone call. I was sitting exactly where I'm sitting right now. And I was doing up like different spreadsheets and so on and so forth. I'm normally in this office, you know, a couple of days a week, sometimes super early in the morning, so I take care of all the administration stuff too, which is quite a bit of work, right? Exporting spreadsheets, food calculations, you know, all that stuff, emails. My mum called me and said, Jay, I have another brain aneurysm. So years ago, actually 5 years to this date, she had a brain aneurysm. And in between that, she actually had like a mitral valve replaced in her heart. So that she was open right up. So there was quite a few other journeys, even during my construction in the like days where I had to fly home, you know, take care of her. Companies I worked for were great. They really understood, you know, people understand when it comes to family. So I made the decision, and this is during COVID, right? November 2020, it was about the 17th. I got the phone call and I said, Mom, I'm coming home. And then I called my sister. My sister was on. She's in the midst of waiting on her. She lives in Vancouver. She got inspired from traveling to where I lived years ago and wanted to move to Canada. She went her own journey too, went to Vancouver. She works in pharmaceuticals. I said, are you going to meet me? Like, and go to Ireland? And then she said, well, I can't go. I don't have, with COVID, they were delaying some paperwork. So if she left, she'll lose her whole job and can't even come back. So anyway, I said, well, look, it's like this. I'm going. I was like, I think you'll make the right decision. So she ended up leaving her job. Her contract was terminated. She's like senior, like very high position in a pharmaceutical company, but she left because of her family, right? Met her in Toronto, couldn't get over COVID. It was a very weird feeling, right? Traveling everywhere was shut down, if you remember November, right?
Yeah.
Flew over to Ireland, seen Mum for about 4 hours. Then she wouldn't even touch us. She was terrified if we caught COVID on the plane. And then she flew then to London to a private hospital. And we couldn't go with her because she had to get tested and isolate for a week and a whole bunch of different stuff. Then she got into the hospital. She called us crying. They just told me there's outbreaks of COVID in the hospital. You know, it was a very stressful time for everyone. Yeah. My sister and I were isolating over in Ireland. And then everything went super well in the end. Operation went well. Mum came back. We actually we took care of her then. We spent Christmas together, my brother, my sister. And then I was meant to come back on like the 31st. And I said, you know what, I'm going to extend it another week. And I knew I'd have to isolate when I come back, you know, for 2 weeks. So then I extended it, came back to PEI on the 7th. But just before I left, some important thing I forgot to put in there. I put like a video of myself recording and explained to like people on my social media that I have to close down the business. And I said, look, due to family circumstances, we have to close down the business, yada, yada. And it was unbelievable, like the response, how people were that reached out to me. You know, I probably got 500 messages from people, right? Saying that, you know, I hope all is well. You know, if you need anything at all, you know, people in PEI are really, really there for you, right? They're great people. And then whenever I came back then in January, I isolated and launched my business back open again in February. And all the subscription plans from 2020, they all were just paused and then started back up. And I had reached out personally to people and asked them what they'd like to do. And yeah, so that it all started back up. And then by March, things were getting super, super busy. Like, I guess in the new year, people want to eat even more healthier, right? And then I have clients as well. It's not just gym members, right? Like I have people in every single industry, from seniors. A lot of people have, like even from New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, they've reached out to me where their parents were getting food from other spots, but the quality wasn't there. They wanted something a bit better for them. You know, it's a premium meal service. So now they have meal plans delivered right to their homes, where every Tuesday we switch our delivery to Tuesday as well. Wednesday pickup, Tuesday delivery to your home. And their home nurse would take their food into them. So they're super happy, you know, the senior population. Quite like, and it's amazing how people recommend it. Quite a few clients now like that. And then a lot of our other clients would be busy entrepreneurs, lawyers, accountants, teachers, students, like just so many different people. But and then in March, I had a lady from New Brunswick reach out to me who owns a store in Cap Palais. It's a gas station. So she reached out to me and I wasn't sure. I thought she was just a customer wanting meals, but then she said, no, I own like she has a health food store within a gas station. So she reached out to me about food, and we ended up, and this is during, I couldn't travel over there, right? Unless you set up an essential worker and you have to get tested every week. So there was an exchange area at the Confederation Bridge, and our kitchen's only about 20 minutes from the Confed Bridge. And so I started meeting her. We tried it the first week, and I brought up to her about 200 meals, and they were sold out like within a day out of her gas station.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't even promote it like a whole lot, but like it did go really well, and just blew up then their social media after that. And so this is me bringing food from PEI to there. I was thinking that they not got other people over there doing this, you know what I mean? But it's I guess it's all portion control food. It's for weight loss. It's super high quality, you know, food. And then so then next week she was like, can you give me 300 or 350 or something like that? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sure I can. But during this, whenever that hit, I was also busy, you know what I mean? With PEI had been growing very quick. So then all of a sudden we're like, okay, next week we have, say, 760 meals to make. But my kitchen was only good for, you know, a certain capacity or whatnot. So then I had to update my kitchen even more. I got a new big commercial oven in to the kitchen. It was different when we were doing 2 days a week. You know, you can kind of, it's half and half, but it's a lot of food all at once. So I quickly acted. I got my whole power. I upgraded to a 100 amp server. My electrician, he's my next door neighbor, unbelievable guy as well. He's actually retired, but he does stuff on the side. And him and I worked together, came up with a deal with him. We put in a 100 amp panel. I used to work as an electrician when I was in university as well. It was a side job. And I ran all the cables up in the attic. I drilled the holes, helped him. And then during that time as well, I was like, do you know what? I want to upgrade and put a generator panel in. So I have the kitchen, you know, set up for the winter time, because I did have a generator panel or a generator that I could just set outside and run cords to all the fridges, right? But now I have the whole house can be powered, right? Which is nice. Also, I live in a community subdivision. We have a community well. So the issue was if the power shut off on a cook day, that pump isn't pumping water to my kitchen. Yeah. So then I had set up a board meeting. So now I got the electrician as well. We put a generator panel out there and a generator as well. So it's all set up now for, you got no power, I'll cook enough food for the whole place. But
that's awesome.
So we acted really quick, and I went to Kent Ford, the guy who sells all their reconditioned commercial equipment and new stuff. Got new fridges put in. So now we have like 3 big double door coolers, single door cooler, 4 freezers. There's a lot going on, right? And it's all set up and better extraction systems. I got heat pumps put in because it was summertime. I remember the year prior, it was quite hot in there, right? We had regular air conditioners, but now it's set. Even when you're cooking a pile of food, she's nice and cool, 15 degrees in the kitchen, right?
Wow.
Which is really good for the quality of the food, right? Because we cool all our food and then we pack it all. It's not put from hot to container. It's all fully cooled, right? To maintain quality. That's why when you buy a meal, it still looks great. So then upgrade all the kitchens, started selling food to New Brunswick. So then I said to her, do you want to do so people can order online and pick up at your store? And she's like, oh, sure, let's try it. So we did that. We had to shut it down after half a day because it got out of control. There was so many orders, right? So much food. You know, you think we can do all this, but the lady, she has a truck, but all of a sudden, where are you going to fit all? How are you going to transport the food? She had walk-in coolers, but she has a lot of her own stuff, right? She was like, okay, can you get me a cooler? I was like, okay, yeah, I'll call up Kent. He was like, yeah, I can deliver one to the bridge next Tuesday, no problem. Set all that up. But then I spoke to her and I thought, you know what, this is going to be a lot of work transporting, and we're charging a fee of $9.95, like if you wanted to pick up in her store. But honestly, it's not enough for the amount of work, right, involved. So we decided, and I also decided, you know what, to maintain, I always found I've never wanted to grow too big, too fast. You know, I've never pushed. I've never gone to like the Guardian newspaper. I've never gone to all these places. And, you know, I've kind of been not a ghost, but, you know, we're doing well as a business. And I never wanted to go crazy and, you know, be greedy either. I'm not a greedy guy, right? So I want to be able to give back to people as well. So then that's been really good since then. New Brunswick, the owner, Christine Duguay, she's also another amazing person, trust me. And she's been really good to me, and a lot of her staff. There's one of the ladies, Annelle, she's another lady that works with her. And to this day, every single Tuesday at between 3 and 4 o'clock, I meet her at the bridge. So I go up to the bridge, drop the food there. Our day starts now at anywhere from 3 to 5 a.m. Like my day starts in the kitchen on Tuesday morning. It's a packing day. Wow. So all the food's weighed, packed, stacked into the containers. Then everything's washed up. Then it's all put into the coolers for shipping, right, to town, Charlottetown, Stratford, Crapo, all them spots. And then once the guys in the kitchen would be done in the kitchen about 2:30, 3 o'clock, the coolers would be set out. There's ladies that have a group from Summerside that comes down and picks up from the kitchen every week. It's their own little group. And then they pick up meals, and then I'd head to the bridge, meet you at the exchange area. You have to go and you answer all the COVID questions. And then I used to back up, wear your mask, stay way back. I used to load into the van. And then, yeah, it was a weird thing, but we made it work, right? And then after that, I drive directly back to my kitchen, load up everything, and then head to town, deliver to all the homes myself, and deliver to all the gyms, Simply for Life. And Simply for Life would alone have, you know, could be anywhere from 250 to 400 meals going into her fridge, right? So you're carrying all them coolers in full of ice packs because they're super cold. I always temperature check and I have log sheets, make sure the food's all within, you know, it's probably about 2-3 degrees. It's always sitting at, even before it gets to the fridges. And then even buying the ice packs, I found it was quite expensive, you know, buying all these ice packs. So then I started using recycled water bottles. So instead of bringing the water bottles to recycling, I used to just fill them with water, put them in the freezer. And then my neighbor actually drops water bottles over to me. And, you know, you have all these water bottles. And I have cooler bags that if I was delivering to you, Jerry, at your house, you set your cooler bag out for me every Tuesday. And then your food's put in the cooler bag with all the frozen water bottles. And then I don't even have any contact with you, right? It's just contactless. If you want to reach out to me, you can email me or call me. But your food is just delivered every week, right? Same as like HelloFresh and them companies, but the food is fully cooked. So all you gotta do is pop it in the microwave and heat it up. But so that was really hard for me delivering. You know, it was a pile of work. But about 3 weeks ago, I got one of my staff members that works on Sunday. So we work Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday in the kitchen. Sunday is like, so I don't know if you've seen the meals before, they have stickers on them, on the lids. So you got to put all them stickers on all them lids, right? Someone's got to do that. I used to do it all myself till I was working too much. But now I found one issue though, you know, as a business owner, it wasn't too bad in Ireland because I had my brother there beside me and we were able to, you know, give people work. And cars is a little different than food. Food is very tricky. Delegating work is one thing I found hard with this business. I
Right.
thought I could do it all, but then eventually I realized, you know, even though I have all these staff, giving them the work to do it, and they're well able to do it. Everyone can learn, right? So now my sister said to me, she said, Jay, why don't you get like a delivery driver, someone to help you? And I was always nervous of the food being dropped or wrong food being delivered. There's a really good guy that works with me, Wilson, on Sundays, and I asked him, would you be interested in working? He's actually studying, he's working for like a ship company on PEI, and he used to have to travel to China and all over Europe. He's working his way up to be an electrical engineer. Unbelievable work ethic. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll work there. So he finishes work, gets home at 4 o'clock. He meets me now. So I get back to the kitchen. I meet him at a gas station in town. And then we load all like a bunch of coolers into his vehicle. And then he goes one way and he delivers to all the homes. And then if there's certain areas I'm going anyway, I'll keep them. But the van is loaded completely in the way it's going to be delivered, right? Everything is done in a way it's efficient. When the meals are packed, bagged, everything is labeled. So it's going to be step by step delivered, right? You're not searching for someone's delivered, right?
Yeah.
So then that's been amazing, you know, switching up, getting help with the delivery. So now I actually, instead of getting finished at 9:30 at night, you know, it's a long day working from 3, 4 in the morning. You're on your feet, right? My back is just killing me, even though I'm going to physio every week.
Yeah.
I get finished, you know, at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and then I can go to the gym. Or like last Tuesday, it was unbelievable. And Martin said, come on, get out here on the boat. Martin and I have a Sea-Doo together, and he has a boat. And I was like, okay, straight to the boat. Went out, jumped on the Sea-Doo and down the Stanley Bridge River. And, you know, so that was a good feeling, you know, being able to, after working hard all day, heading out to the water, right? So
I have one as well. I'm going to be out on the ocean in an hour myself. As you're talking, I'm staring at your stuffed peppers, and I'm like, wow, man, that looks fantastic.
Yeah, they're pretty filling, them ones.
Jay, great story, great business. I can't even begin to try to get my head around how busy your life is. You seem to be nonstop, but you're taking everybody along with you. All the people that encounter you, they're along for this great ride, and that's inspirational, man. That's unbelievable. We often ask our guests to leave the audience with, you know, a small takeaway. What would a little piece of advice be from a guy like you who's had a great journey so far, and it's pretty exciting where you're going? What would that piece of advice be?
My biggest advice in life would be, you got to have a balance in life. So as an entrepreneur, one thing you can't do is forget about your partner, your family, and people just need to understand that sometimes there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're working your way towards, you know, some more free time, freedom. So even though you're working 100 and something hours a week, the biggest thing is you got to set your goals to where you got to be. If you don't got goals, you're just going around in circles, right? So one piece of advice is to set your goals, and then you know that you can reach them and aim towards getting to that spot. And you know what? To this date, I have actually reached, you know, a good location where I now actually have more free time. I spend more time with family, even though I still work really good. But I always work smarter, not harder. But and the last thing is, being organized in life is the most super important thing, I think, out there myself. Even I'm probably a little bit OCD. I even have my socks and underwear set out every morning before I go to bed for the morning. And I have, even if I was going to the fridge and if I was taking stuff out of the fridge, I'd only open that fridge once and then put everything back in. Like, I'm try to be as efficient as possible, but maybe that's a little bit OCD, I don't know. But being organized in your business and also at home, they say an organized car is an organized person, right? Tidy car. But yeah, I don't know, just being organized. Remember, you can always delegate stuff as you grow. Delegating stuff too soon, too quick, though, can be bad as well, because your business can go downhill. Because like my mom always said, the more work you hand over to more people, the more mistakes there's going to be. Because, you know, human error, even I make mistakes. But when you do make mistakes, all you can do is improve, learn, and see where you can like make things better, right? So yeah, no, that's what I'd say. And I want to say to you guys, thanks a million for having me on here today. This is my first podcast. I've really enjoyed it, and it's great to talk. I'm a big talker, so that's why my lady always says I talk too much, but I'm sure you guys get the same thing.
Yes,
Jerry,
we do.
Jerry, your final great advice, Jay. Great advice all around.
Thanks a lot, Alan.
Jerry, your final thoughts.
Well, you know what? I don't have a lot to say because I think anyone who's will watch and listen to this podcast will feel the same in terms of what I'm going to say. Jay, if your dad was alive, he'd be very proud of you.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Jerry.
Well, 100. I don't know of a better way to sum that up. You're right, Jerry. But I don't think we would be fair to leave the program, Jay, because your mom's going to watch it. No doubt about it. What do you want to say to your mom before you go?
All I can say is you're the number one mom in the world and love you.
There you go. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another wonderful conversation on Gale Force Wins. Jay Gallagher is a guy that just doesn't sit still. He's got a vision, he's organized, and he plans things out, and he gets things done. But what's really inspirational to me about Jay is that he takes everybody along for the ride with him. People gravitate towards him, and he appreciates what they do for him, and he celebrates them as much as he celebrates the success of his business. And that's why he is so successful today. His company is on fire, it's growing, it's expanding, and it's worth checking out. There's one piece of advice that I always like to leave the audience with, and that is the world needs more Jay Gallagher. Keep it up, man. You're doing great work. Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Gale Force Wins. That's Gale Force Wins, WINS.com.